Nice that I just got back from a company lunch that we end up doing most Fridays, and I had a whole bunch of crap here. I got a few in some envelopes and some in a box here. Today for my unboxing, and I think one of these two will make sense a little bit with that. I got the Vosteed raccoon. This thing is super smooth, which is pretty good, but still fairly budget knife. But yeah, let's see what we got going on here. Well, there we go. There it is. There's the other Vosteed here. A whole bunch of people have already got theirs, but I didn't order mine exactly when it first came out. Looks like I got an Artisan Cutlery, so that one I think came from, I don't remember. It was either BladeHQ or Knife Center. Let's see what we got in here. 6-leaf. Okay. Don't necessarily need to unbox this guy here. This one was one I won from eBay. It's this particular one, the SL21 and 154cm, just gold instead of purple around the outside. So that's not one that I need to particularly do an unboxing for. But hey, I won the auction for about half as much as I got that purple one for. So it was tempting. And this one's from White Mountain Knives. Let's see what we got here. I will open up the tape off camera due to it having my address on there, and I haven't blanked it out. But, alright. So, got a Finch and a Kizer. And, of course, some delicious packing peanuts. These ones are made out of cornstarch, so, you know, if you want to eat them, I wouldn't suggest it, but at least the chemicals in it aren't going to kill you. But the fact that it hasn't been prepared in a food-safe environment, you know, makes me kind of think that it's a bad idea. You can also dissolve them in water, or just throw them away because they biodegrade. Whatever you end up wanting to do with them. But okay, this is the Vosteed Valkyrie, should be, yeah. Got a little tin that they end up coming in, and then a pouch on top of that. Looks like this guy also comes with a pouch, the microfiber cloth, and a little tiny bit of information there. These things came in 2 blade configurations. One of them was a sheep's foot, and the other one is this guy right here, which they call a Seax blade, or SEAX, which is kind of like the integral titanium guy from TwoSun. Same kind of thing, where these blade shapes came out of it being a much longer thing, and someone broke it and they made a knife out of it. But for all intents and purposes, it is essentially a modified Wharncliffe. I say modified because it's got just a little tiny bit of belly to it. This is a gray G10, nothing super crazy fancy going on there. 154cm steel on this, though, so that's pretty darn neat, whereas this one's 14C28N for the raccoon. As far as I'm aware, these only came in G10. There was a couple of different colors. I went with the gray, but I think there was also green and black and all that sort of stuff. And they're also coming out with some coated blades on these things. But still, well, it looked pretty interesting. And this actually has a bit of a different mechanism than this one. This one is just the standard button lock. This one has that kind of crazy integral button lock where it goes through the blade. Much like they ended up doing for the Kizer Cormorant, because that's the same designer, Yue Dong. So very similar in that sense, and also different deployment methods. It's got the button. That one's got a thumb stud instead of the hole, but front flipper, back flipper, all that sort of stuff going on there. But pretty interesting. It does feel a little bit more budget just due to the peel ply G10 texture that we got going on with it. And it seems like I could probably improve the action just a little bit like I did on the raccoon, but still pretty darn nice out of the box there. So your front flipper is easily done, but not quite as easy as the other two opening mechanisms there. We got a bit of a finger choil, still a little small for me, but at least I do like the fact that they have this little harpoon ramp here that can kind of help you get a spot for your thumb all up in there. So that's nice. And a little nice finger notch there. Flipper tab's fairly subdued, so you can't even sneak up onto it, and it's not super uncomfortable. Pocket clip seems to be the same on this guy. These ones are actually just a little bit difficult to get in and out, or well, into thicker pants pockets material. They don't have a huge amount of up ramp there, which it's a little difficult, but you know, you can certainly make do, and they do kind of bend out and accommodate a little bit more as time goes on. So there's the Vosteed Valkyrie Seax blade. Let's go for the Kizer next. Since I have a Wharncliffe sort of thing going on here, I do like that for popping these things open here. And yes, this is the original XL, which I thought about and then kind of decided against. And then, well, this one was a return to White Mountain Knives. 154 cm blade steel. This is the XL, even though it doesn't feel like an XL knife, it's definitely larger than the original there. It does have the hardware bits in the bottom there, so that's nice. I do appreciate that they've been doing that recently. This one does have quite a bit of similarities going on with the Raccoon. Raccoon's just a little bit larger overall as far as handle length, but this has a little bit more of a reduced finger choil going on there. Still, Kizer does a great job on their micarta, and this feels super nice as well. So it looks like it will probably patina a little quicker than some of their micartas out there. But still, unless I choke up on this, and this is the XL model, if I'm back here, it's still a 3-finger knife. So, you know, it is technically the XL, but that makes me really happy that I didn't get a standard original in the aluminum scales a long time ago. No. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a second. There's no skeletonization or weight relieving going on with the micarta scales. Probably for the best there. We do have nested liners, but they only end like up here, so it's designed a little bit more like some more access lock kind of things, but that makes this thing super crazy light. This thing supposedly had an issue with it. I would have to go back and look at it a little bit. I thought they said something about lock stick, but I'm not feeling basically anything going on there. But yeah, there you go. It does have just a little tiny bit of clicky wiggle. I'm assuming that's probably going to be the stop pin. Yeah, I don't hear it while the blade's engaged with it, so that's probably what that is. Really easy fix that ends up plaguing quite a few knives, but Boker definitely more than other companies I've seen. Okay, next up, sure. We'll continue on with White Mountain Knives here. We got the Finch. I believe this is a Reciprocity. Yeah, they come with Band-Aids. Yeah, Reciprocity. Still fairly small, like the other guy there, but just a little tiny bit larger. This one's got the carbon fiber shred kind of pocket clip, or sorry, scales, titanium pocket clip going on here. Really killer looking. I'm still gonna call that a Wharncliffe because we got enough stabby power there. We have a fairly faint horizontal grain going on there, and then stonewash that they did before then, because that's what we got for the high saber grind going on here. Decent blade geometry going on. As with the other one, I think they might have said something about this having a scratch on the blade or something like that. Not quite sure. The action's not gritty or anything like that, but it could be tuned up a little bit better, so I will definitely end up doing that. Just like the other Finches that have come out, not a large knife, so that's something there. But this one does have the extended thing out there that does allow me to at least easily get a four-finger grip going on there. So that's neat. Nice lock bar access. This is a steel bolster lock going on here. Yeah, like that. These little things glow in the dark a little bit. It's mostly a novelty since they don't last for an incredibly long amount of time. I think after I've blasted it with light from a black light, they last for a couple of minutes. But yeah, there we go. All right, next up, I got an Artisan cutlery here. Open this guy up. Well, the bag didn't come out. But yes, this is a what is this? A Centauri? Will you tell me? No, I suppose you won't. Yeah, a Ray Laconico design. I do think this is a Centauri, but so front flipper. This is the large variant. They also have a small variant that seems to be a little bit more popular with people. This is black and red micarta, but there's a couple of different other styles out there. A couple of different micarta colors and stuff like that going on. But this one seemed to be the one that looked the most interesting to me. Nice front flipper here. Decent blade geometry going on that quite nicely drop point blade going on there. S35VN going on with this one, so it's not using their AR RPM 9, a little bit more premium steel going on there. This is a nested liner lock. They do, of course, also make these in titanium frame locks, which are much more expensive. If I remember right, this was kind of a daily deal or something like that. So I got this for well under $100, which, hey, for a nice knife design from a great knife designer, Ray Laconico, with great blade steel and some good micarta and all that sort of stuff for under $100. It seemed like a pretty good deal to me. This one is a little bit heavier than the other Artisan cutlery series that I have that kind of reminds me a little bit of it, but still, yeah. Do like the knife quite a bit there. It does have just a little bit of a pokiness kind of going on here. And looks like just a little bit of fraying going on the micarta there. But it does have a little bit of a dip there for the lanyard hole, which makes me think it would probably be pretty darn easy if I didn't care about this, which I kind of don't, to round that corner off a little bit more so that it would be just a touch more comfortable in the bottom palm of my hand. But otherwise, yeah, super nice knife. Action seems pretty good on it. I can definitely improve that a little bit. It's mostly a wiggle shut. Really snaps closed. Sounds like there's metal on metal contact somewhere. Probably on the stop pan or something like that. But yeah, not a huge amount of extra other stuff that is really necessary to go over with this one. It is certainly nowhere near a new knife. It's been out for quite some time there. They say the blade hardness is between 59 and 61. Which, sure, why not? A lot of times, these guys in S35VN do feel just a little bit softer when I'm actually sharpening them than something that I'll end up getting out of like Benchmade or Boker that seem to ride a little bit higher on their HRCs and stuff like that. But still, it doesn't mean that the blades don't perform at all. It just means that they feel a little bit softer when you're sharpening on some diamond stones and all that sort of stuff. But, see, those were, that, right? Oh, yeah, the 6-leaf was the other one. Okay, so, those are the knives that I ended up getting here. I suppose I can at least open this up to take a peek at it. And, yeah, same knife, just with the gold band around there. So, yep, titanium frame lock. In this particular case, I think it's 154 cm. Yeah, 154 cm steel going on these guys. But all right, yeah. I guess this thing has gone a little long at 15 minutes, but all right. Well, there's what we got today. So as always, I appreciate y'all for watching, and have yourself a wonderful rest of your day, yo. Subscribe, please. Well, hell, I just opened up an Amazon package along with the rest of the stuff here, and found that I did actually have a knife. This actually got here early. This is actually a test bench for some motherboard stuff. I have some extra parts that I want to throw together to have kind of a home media center PC. So that's kind of what that crap was. Also have some converters here because I have SODIMM memory from an old laptop that I want to use for it. Better than buying a new module. So yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at this guy. It's another Tacray. This one is not in titanium, if I have my information correct on this one here. It's really snug in the box here. Let's go ahead and get a little knife in here to do a little pry job. There we go. Here we go. All right, well, there's a little Amazon thank you card in there for it. And a little bit of a crushed velvet pouch. And, yeah, here we are. Okay, this to me seems even more like a kitchen utility kind of folder here. In quite a few ways. We have a button lock on this one, but it is left side mounted, and that's probably to help a little bit with some kind of pinch grip sort of things that you might end up interfacing with or something like that. I don't know exactly. VG10 blade on this, and it ain't small or shy. We got, just under 4.5 inches going on this one here. And all the knuckle clearance you could possibly need for a lot of that stuff. So this one should be fun to play around with a little bit. It's what I kind of got the that smaller titanium one for, but it didn't end up working out with kind of what I wanted to do with it. But this one seems like it'll probably be a little bit nicer, especially for some larger things. If I'm cutting a sandwich or something like that down here in the basement that I end up using with a good old toaster oven and a whole bunch of other stuff down here. I end up treating it like my own living room space. But yeah, this thing is pretty neat. Like I said, VG10 steel like the other one, but this is, of course, just peel ply texture G10 going on here. And no ball bearings in the pivot there. These are using washers, so just a little bit easier to end up doing the maintenance and rinsing this thing out in case you do actually get it covered in foodstuffs or possibly whatever else. And the blade stock thickness on this is also fairly darn thin, so feels a little bit more like a Japanese or Asian style kitchen knife rather than the really really thick tops you end up getting out of some forged European sort of stuff there. So yeah, should be pretty interesting. I like it quite a bit. And still very, very affordable. I think this thing was somewhere in the 40 or 50, or probably somewhere in the 50s, $55, $56 or something like that. And for what you're getting, with a 4.5 inch VG10 blade and decent build and all that sort of stuff, pretty darn good for the money. So, yeah, that was the other thing that I didn't think showed up today, but it did. So I'll include this here on the end of the video. All right, catch y'all in the next one. Well, this is going to be a fun little tiny additional video here. I'm playing around with the that new Tacray knife here, VG10 blade and all that sort of stuff. The one with the button lock on the other side here. Took it apart to, just kind of clean it up and all that sort of stuff. Steel bearing or bushings kind of going on there for the washers. Very, very nice and highly polished on both sides, so I didn't really have to do anything there. But the way that they actually implement this little button thing here is, it just kind of shoves on through here. And that will push a liner on the other side here, as long as it's actually lined up so I can do that. But either way, it attaches with a little screw here. That being this little tiny guy right here. And stripped amazingly easy, and it kind of seemed like there might have been some sort of adhesive going on in that process there. But yeah, it just kind of spins and spins and spins. And I didn't think that was going to be a problem until it worked itself out, because it was kind of snug in there, and the button fell out. Which means I couldn't really freaking close the knife. So I do need to fix that there. And basically what I am ending up going to do, super glue, CA glue for those of you that don't use, I guess, a more original brand name or something like that for it. So I will very, very carefully put just a little tiny bit of a dab in there. And get it in there, and then put that screw in there, the itty bitty little short one here. Because I don't really have any other hardware that matches it there, then that wouldn't work. It's possible I could find something, or maybe even use something like that. I don't know. I have some extra hardware laying around, but I don't think any of them are quite like that. But I mean, that is going to be my first thought, is try to modify an extra piece of hardware or something like that to accommodate that. But and again, I don't know what side actually ended up stripping on here. I still see plenty of threads going on this guy here, so I'm a little bit more afraid that it's stripped on the button part, which not a whole lot you can end up doing to replace that. That's a fairly bespoke part, so that also leads me to want to just glue the darn thing. But yeah, I'll play around with it a little bit. Also, something really, really weird is T6 hardware all the way around, including the pivots on these, which is funky. This one has a barrel, and you can accidentally take off both sides of it. So I suppose keep that in mind. But overall, I would say, unless you absolutely have to, probably don't disassemble this darn thing at all. It is certainly made down to a price point. This is a 4.5-inch blade of VG10 for like $43. They're selling it for on Amazon. So, I mean, as far as the hardware and stuff goes, you get what you pay for usually a little bit. So, just, I suppose, keep that in mind. It was probably a fantastic knife, just not one really designed and accommodating for actual disassembly and putting it back together and all that. So, alrighty, yeah, just wanted to kind of catalog my little finding there. And, well, alright, I'll catch you on the next one. Hey, well, I'm going to tack this on the end here. I did just open it up in another video, the huge TwoSun extravaganza sort of thing going on here, but did want to kind of include this in an unboxing video overall. This is TwoSun TS501, just like the jeans, but maybe just a little bit different. Yeah, this is a D2 knife. Obviously, you can see its budget. It's in the nice 40 or 40 something dollar range. And the designer on this one is David Chen, which is not an unknown designer. He's done quite a bit of work, quite a bit with petrified fish. Unfortunately, this is about the only one I actually have from him right now. This is the Scout, but yeah, his kind of signature little thing is putting his name on the clips there, which they actually did on this, even though it's just a couple of normal TwoSun budget pocket clips and stuff like that. Yeah, this one's the petrified fish Scout. Let's see, 14C28N on this guy. Really nice little tiny bugger for carrying around on some light days. This one a little bit heavier overall, but really, really good sheep's foot blade. Like I said in the other video, this does remind me of the fixed blade sheep's foot TwoSun that I now have all three variants of. That was from a different designer, Jipo, whereas this is David Chen. But yeah, there you go. This thing is really, really comfortable in the hand. I'm glad to see another kind of nice budget knife from TwoSun. They have come out with some budget knives throughout the year, but I mean, to be honest, most of them have been pretty trash. Mostly the collaborations between Night Morning and Weistart have been not very good. And the three YX designs, they seem to have kind of used TwoSun as an OEM builder and making the blades, but all the handle material definitely came out of not TwoSun's wheelhouse. Some of them had some different bearing sizes and things like that, and they were all just a little fucking wonky. I tried to say wonky, but wonky, sure, we'll go with that. So yeah, it's good to see a really, really nice budget knife going on here. It's of course in D2 steel, as pretty much everything that's not M390 these days is from them. And it definitely makes sense for the the $40-something price range. Got nice lock bar access going on with this thing. I haven't disassembled it or anything yet, but this has some pretty nice action right out of the box there. I can probably get that a little bit better, but there you go. Of course, we got T8 hardware all the way around. No call-out pivot collar on this guy, just black and, what they would end up calling gray G10, even though it's much more on the blue side rather than a slate gray that something like this guy, if you're curious, it's the Vosteed Valkyrie. This is the Seax blade. They also have a sheep's foot version of it that's a little less stabby, but that was the variant that tickled me, so there we go. Jimping, I absolutely love that right where it is. Sharpening choil, they actually do have a bit of a sharpening choil there, but a very, very gradual plunge grind. Very, very typical for a company like QSP to end up doing. So you do have to end up being a little careful when you're sharpening this thing. If you're on a fixed angle sharpener, it does help to actually clamp it a little bit off from perfect center or something like that to avoid having the stone creeping a little bit too far over there. Ask me how I've known this. And it does seem like at least this one, I don't know exactly how well it's going to come off on camera, but it seems like it might be just a little tiny bit less sharp due to just a little bit less time on the very tip on that pocket side rather than the show side there. Still, overall, feels super nice and sharp. I haven't cut anything with it yet. Yeah. Super happy to have another healthy contender for a budget knife here from TwoSun, because when they do a budget knife right, like the 81, the 89, the 127, a whole bunch of those, they do a really, really good job. And I'm glad to see that we got another one kind of in those ranks, or at least I kind of think so. Because it's got that polished G10, it might have a little bit of a look of some of the Gonzo FH series or something like that. But these guys do a phenomenal job with that stuff, and no proud liners on this. Thank you, David. So yeah, in this particular case, I'm just gonna do the sharpening test here because it's not going to take any time whatsoever. I already got it threaded up and ready to go. So let's see what we got out of the box here. $220, sure, it feels right around that 200 range. That's right in my wheelhouse of what I absolutely love to see out of the box of a knife. Seems to have a decent refinement amount going on there. It does seem to have maybe just a little bit of odd grind things. Like the line is perfectly centered there. but either they spent just a little bit extra time in some areas, or they accidentally pushed a little bit too far if they were working on a slack belt or something like that. Which I mean, that's one of those things where you'll pull it up to your eyes and look with a jeweler's loop like you're pouring over a Chris Reeve or something like that. But in practice, works super great with the nice sharpness that we saw there. Yeah, I'm really happy with this, and it's a full 4-finger grip for me. Let's see, blade length on this guy, coming in just over 3.5 inches, but it'll be 3.5 inches of cutting length, since we do have just a little bit of that choil there before the bump. So, alrighty, yeah, I don't really have a whole lot else to say about it, because I haven't really used it or taken it apart or anything like that. But the first impressions of this thing is looks like we might have a budget banger on our hands. So, alrighty, as always, I appreciate y'all for watching, and have yourself a wonderful rest of your day, yo. Subscribe, please. Well, it looks like I got some more crap, so I'm going to go ahead and open it. This is from White Mountain Knives. Not exactly the package of knives that I thought I was going to receive today, but still happy nonetheless. And this other one, I'm not sure, but if I had to guess, I would say it's some replacement scales for a Benchmade Griptilian, but I suppose we'll find out. Today I'll use the Trevisa Gemini. Pretty interesting knife with titanium and ironwood scales there. Some interesting file work. Really terrible as far as spring retention is concerned on this one in particular here. That's just kind of the way they designed it. I don't know if necessarily they wanted it that way, or if they just aren't super familiar with how slip joints are usually supposed to be done for being nice and safe. But yeah, this definitely does look to be the scales here. I went with just some blue and black. They seem to be about the most attractive set that I could get. And it looks like it came with some extra hardware for putting it together. I'm guessing to match that black aesthetic. But yeah, these are supposed to replace the FRN scales or ABS plastic or whatever the heck Benchmade is using on their Griptilians now. However, Knife Center still hasn't gotten that to me, because they have a Boker knife on there that's been back ordered. So I don't know, maybe sometime this month I'll get that, and I can replace these to get just a little bit more rigidity. But all right, here we go. Since I can open this one up from the bottom, that's what I'm gonna do. Oh boy, what do I have inside this guy? A little snug. Looks like I got a Civivi of some sort. A Kizer of some sort. Another Kizer. And our TwoSun, I guess. Wow. Alright. I honestly don't remember at all what the hell is in any of these guys. But yeah, let's go ahead and start. Well, it's a 158, whatever the TwoSun thing is. Is that a knife or? Yeah, it is. Okay, I do remember this. This was another one of these guys. I already own the knife. It was returned because it's got a little bit of a notch taken out there. I guess it made some contact with a barrel spacer or something like that. But if I can fix this thing up, which is super easy to do, this is an absolute fantastic knife. So I can think about it for a handout to somebody else, or a giveaway or something like that. I do have some things that I've kind of held on to that I might have doubles or something like that. Thinking of doing some giveaways and things of that nature in the future. So that should be fun. Let's see, what do we got for Civivi? This is going to be another open box. There it is. This guy's heavy. This is the Asticus. And the brushed bronze, maybe brushed copper. Crap, I don't know. What does it say? Brass. Yeah, and this is the mini Asticus, I guess. The full-size one, I guess, is super large, because this one is definitely a full-size sort of knife here. This one's using a 10 CR15 MOV, which Civivi hasn't used a whole lot. You can basically think of it as the Chinese version of VG10. It's pretty darn close as far as chemical makeup and all that sort of stuff. If I remember right, I paid like $40 for this. I don't remember exactly what. I should probably write down on some of these what the complaint was. I don't know if necessarily there was a scratch on the blade that I should be looking for, or if it was off center, or someone just didn't like it. Yeah, it's perfectly centered. Super heavy. Yeah, I do like that. A little VG10-ish blade here. Nice hollow grind to it, so super nice and slicey. Like that. This obviously isn't anywhere near of a new design here, but hey, it does look like I can swap that pocket clip over to carry it on an offhand, which is great. It does have proud liners. Not exactly the hugest fan of that, just as a design thing in general. But still, yeah, pretty nice knife going on here. Okay, if I remember right, yeah. So I will open up this guy first. And yes, this is a Cormorant XL in 3V. This was a White Mountain Eyes exclusive knife. This actually came free with that one. I think it had partially something to do with the bundle in which it was originally sold with. But hey, having another one of these was, it sounded like a nice thing. So there's that. I already own the knife, of course, so there is that. But it basically came along with this one that sounded interesting to me. As you can see, this one is their kind of higher end line. And yeah, here we are. It's the standard size Cormorant. Titanium handles here, M390 blade. It is much smaller. It's got that notch. That design thing is kind of been brought over to the very new Vosteed Valkyrie that I ended up opening up recently. But yeah, it has that same kind of a finger notch there. But yeah, this is pretty all right. It does feel a little bit more substantial in the hand than the G10 ones do, and that's certainly good. Again, not super familiar exactly with what somebody was complaining about with this one, but obviously it has been carried. I can see the snail trails and all that sort of stuff, at least on the show side. A lot of times it'll be like a strong detent or something like that as a reason why somebody ends up returns these things or something. It's nice and centered. Yeah, I don't particularly see anything super crazy wrong with it. Lock seems all sorts of nice and rock solid. I have heard somebody kind of complain recently about this particular lock. It's something that Vosteed uses on their knives because Yudong was the guy who kind of came up with it. But they also have a couple of knives that they did with Kizer with it. These Cormorants being one, and I guess they licensed it out to the Hiccup here, because the Hiccup is an Azo design, but it still has that same lock. But they were saying that somehow the Loctite or something like that in these plunge locks, because they're pinned through the blade rather than riding around the outside of them, can come loose, and then the button comes out or something like that. I haven't run into it on any of mine, and I mean, to my knowledge, I haven't seen a whole bunch of other people really mention it, but hey, some people out there are fairly adamant about it. But yeah, I've been playing around with these kind of things a little bit more on the Vosteed side recently, just putting them through their paces. The most recent one, the Valkyrie that I played with. When I opened it up, I did attempt to actually remove the whole plunge lock thing from it, and I couldn't even do it. So they were definitely using some sort of permanent Loctite. So I don't know exactly how hard or not that somebody might be absolutely flinging these things open with that might cause the vibrations to loosen those over time. I don't know, but it's just something that I have seen, at least someone kind of bring up. So I figured I would at least throw that out there. Curious on if anybody else has had kind of these issues with the. I don't honestly now. I don't remember exactly the the lock name. I know it has a certain type. They have a name for it over there, both at Kizer and Vosteed now and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, there you go. So a whole lot of probably nothing interesting, but I did get a mini Asticus and brass for a ridiculously cheap price, which is why I went for it, because otherwise it wasn't exactly the most interesting knife, which is why I didn't try to pick one up originally. And then, yeah, got me a titanium Cormorant, and then got an extra Cormorant XL as just kind of a bonus. It wasn't included really in the price, so I think I paid like, what was it, 120, 130 or so for these guys, where I think they were close to 150 or something like that new. And I do kind of remember them having this bonus sort of thing, maybe earlier in the November, December area or something like that. I don't know. But either way, yeah, this was fun. Nothing surprisingly hugely crazy new, but hey, it's still more knives that I've got now in my collection, which is ridiculously well over 500 at this point, which might say a couple of things about me. One, I'm way too lazy to actually sell most of the knives, even the ones that I'm not super interested in, because that requires a heck of a lot more effort to actually go somewhere to do the deliveries, or even find boxes and stuff like that that can fit back in my mailbox so the USPS can pick them back up and all that sort of stuff. And I don't know. At some point, I should probably offload some of them, but I suppose right now, not that time. So, alrighty. As always, I appreciate y'all for watching, and have yourself a wonderful rest of your day, yo. This guy. Good way to celebrate a Friday after work with some new knives here. I got something from White Mountain Knives. We got something from BladeHQ, and I do believe this is also from BladeHQ. You know what I kind of feel like doing? Haven't really done it before, but since I'm actually out and about, I wanted to do a pocket dump. The unboxing knife that I'm going to use, that I carried in my right front pocket, is the ridiculously massive Kershaw Sheepdog, the full size with the thumb hole and all of that. In my back right pocket, yeah, we got the Olight thingy. I've already forgotten the darn name of this thing, but it's the titanium variant of it. So there we go. Let's see. Left front pocket, we got the Quakin Air here, a little Boker guy. This is a Knife Center exclusive one, an S35 VN. Not super great drop shot action, but still a heck of a lot of fun, and feels about 1,000 times more sturdy than the Urban Trapper that I've also got from Boker. And then the left back pocket, since I had it out, we got the Petrified Fish Deep Sea. So, alrighty, that was kind of fun. But, yeah, definitely want to use the thing that brings the biggest smile to my face right now. Yeah, it is a Kizer here. I really wish at some point that they would end up releasing this model full titanium frame lock with 10V or something like that, like they did with the standard one. That would be absolutely supreme as far as I'm concerned. I don't know if and or when it would happen, or if it would be a dealer exclusive, but I would really appreciate that. Interesting to see a cream style or colored box. Man, this thing does not want to come out. Let's open the flap on the other side and push it out. There we go. It's just kind of an outer thing anyway. Fairly large knife, or fairly large box for a kind of a small knife. This is the mini Harpoon, which was a yeah, man, you can focus. You can do it. There we go. Yeah, but this is using 10V as well, which was one of the reasons why I wanted to pick it up. It's a definitely a more EDC oriented fixed blade. It still has that on there, but it should be able to help me out in moving that out the way. Good. And yeah, we got kind of their slimline kind of version of a Tecla kind of thing. This thing has a nice powder coat on it. As you can see, yeah, it's pulling off some skin from my fingers. But really nice retention in there. Absolutely no rattle or anything like that. It takes a little bit of effort to pull out there, which is going to be definitely better than something super loose. But yeah, this thing is, let's see, I can pull out my ruler here, and yeah, just under 3 inches. But yeah, other than that, we got the microfiber cloth and their standard little pamphlet. So nothing super crazy interesting going on there on the inside. But yeah, this thing is a lot of fun. But okay, I will set that aside and try to put that box back together a little bit later here. But if we find out what else I got from BladeHQ here. Open it up from the bottom because, well, my address is on the top. Got another one of those nice pocket clips here. And we got a few. Alright, this one in the unnamed box, I think, was basically a gift. It's from a kind of a newer company. Well, if I can remember, hopefully it's on there. Yeah. Crud, it's not. This was basically, it's a company that they are going to start carrying knives from. But this was kind of the first ones that came out. And they're not available for purchase yet. It was just basically available for this time in which purchased some other knives. And there was like 3 different variants that you had the possibility of getting. I guess I got the natural G10. I think they had a Micarta version with a Damascus blade. And I don't remember what the other one was. Maybe black G10 or something like that with a black blade. Not quite sure. Anyway, these guys are 9CR 18 MLV. So nothing super crazy special. Just kind of a 440C-ish equivalent sort of thing. They do have a seatbelt cutter style blade in there, which I thought was actually going to be built like some of the old SOG Tridents or SOG, whatever they want to be called. Where it was actually the blade that was fully exposed on the backside. But this is just a little blade insert, which is neat, but probably incredibly challenging if you ever needed to sharpen it. And looks like we have a glass breaker on the end, which hopefully I can remove because I absolutely hate having those on knives. Just seems a little bit more dangerous because I carry a lot of technology with screens on them, and well, those are glass, so... But yeah, it's not bad. Fairly light detent on this one in particular. You can probably tune that up a little bit by adding some lock bar tension on there. So, yeah, there we go. Fairly large knife for kind of a starting out sort of thing from a company. But, alright, next up, I got a QSP here. This one I kept trying to get on White Mountain Knives, and it kept selling out incredibly quick before I could go ahead and get it. But BladeHQ had them in stock, and apparently enough that I could easily get a hold of them. So there we go. Yeah, this is a slip joint here. Nice hollow grind on it. This one's called the Hedgehog. Yeah. And this is another one using the denim micarta that QSP was kind of known for with the penguin. But of course, this one also has some milling going on there, so it doesn't just look like a flat sheet. It has a little bit more texture going on, but still, really, really high quality micarta, like I've basically seen from QSP in the past. This kind of has that cleaver-esque, almost straight razor kind of look to it there. We got a long pole going on here, which I apparently in the past had misappropriated a term of matchstick pull for that. Yeah, it's just a long pull, but whatever. Well, they thought about it. They do have kind of a sharpening choil there, but the plunge grind ends well after that and into the blade itself. So the thought was there, but the implementation probably wasn't all that great for it. But oh well. We got 14C28N on this guy here, so that's pretty darn good. I have a decent walk and talk on this guy. I really appreciate that. And of course, I did mention before also that nice hollow grind, so it comes down quite nice and thin. This thing seems to be quite a lot of fun. Can't wait to start using this thing for some other stuff here. And let's see. What do I got for the last one here? It's a Kizer. I don't remember which one, but we can definitely tell it's from the Vanguard series. Okay, this is the Genie in Richlite. So yeah, there we go. Does look quite a bit like the Doman, kind of that same blade shape kind of thing. But this one does have, I think, a little bit longer blade on it overall. I guess they just have GE on there, but it is listed as the Genie on their site. Yeah, interesting. It does say G for that as well. I don't know. Maybe they changed it up for this one in particular, but yeah. Still pretty interesting. It's got to be a front flipper. Jimping doesn't go over the top, but it's all right. It has a fairly stiff detent, so it might take me a little bit to get that whole reach around kind of thing going on there. But hey, nested liners in the Richlite here, and they also have a little bit of contouring going on, which I haven't really seen them do with the Richlite. They've pretty much been exclusively just a flat slab sort of thing, and then possibly a little bit of milling like they've done on the Towser K. But yeah, this one kind of seemed a little interesting, and it definitely put me over the edge to be able to get this thing for free. So that was kind of neat. 154 cm, like most of the newer Kizer budget models, which I'm absolutely happy with. 154 cm is a pretty darn good steel. Being able to choke up there is nice. This definitely has that very reminiscent of the of the Benchmade 940 there. Yeah. Yeah, things are all over the place. I'm getting a little messy, but there we go. This thing has something strange that I have felt with some before, where the blade feels a little loose. Only when it's not open or closed, like the half position, it feels a little loose, but gets in there afterwards. You tend to feel that a little bit more on a close or something like that. And I think that's usually having to do with the bearing races or the washers that they ride along, possibly having a little bit of movement. So it's fairly easy to fix, and I've done that for some knives, and it seems like I'll have to do it for that one as well. But all right, we have one more here from White Mountain Knives. I didn't block off my address on the front of this one here, so I will go ahead and cut the tape off camera. But yeah, here we are. This one has saran wrap on it. Hey, it's a Miguron. Oh, this is the one that starts with a P. What is it? The Pelora? Yeah, the Pelora. This one seemed kind of interesting. Also, fairly small compared to some of the other Miguron knives that have come out. This is much more cellophane-ish plastic rather than soft. That's perfectly fine. This is definitely much more of a budget version of a knife. This isn't one of their super crazy high-end ones. Screw it. I will use an actual spudger to open that up. Oh, it's actually bigger than I anticipated it being, so that's cool. Open that up, and yeah, I'm getting definitely some banter vibes coming from this thing. It's a bit chunkier, definitely thicker overall. I just went with a black G10, but I think they only did G10 for this model, so nothing super crazy special about it. But of course, it is always nice to get a titanium pocket clip with a knife that's under $50. Thumb studs end up working out pretty darn good here. You can choke up a little bit. No jimping on the top there. Not the end of the world, but I do definitely appreciate that on there. And we have a stone wash that, yeah, this thing has a nice thin blade geometry behind the edge there. Still a little bit thick up here. I'm guessing, I don't know, 3.2 to 3.4 millimeters for the blade stock thickness. But we have a vertical satin going on up top on the flats. I definitely need to work on the action on this thing a little bit. It feels a little grindy. Let's see if we can't hear that. We'll put it up to the mic here. Yeah, and that's obviously in the middle there, so that's probably going to be just the where the detent ball actually rides on the flats of the blade. Maybe exacerbated by the horizontal satin or something like that. Not quite sure. So the close at the moment doesn't feel absolutely amazing, but yeah, super easy to deploy with thumb stud there, and yeah, you got a decent amount of cutout there, so you can easily reverse flick that if you want. Usually it's a little bit easier with a cutout than it is with thumb studs, but still definitely possible. This guy is in, yeah, 14C28N. If we can get that to, there we go. Show that on the camera. Yeah, pretty interesting. This does feel quite a bit like a little bit larger version of the wee banter. Not quite the size of the big banter, but it also doesn't have that gigantic choil there. So, oh, let's see. I actually do have that out here. So, yeah, it's, as you can see there, it's a little bit larger, but not quite the size of the big banter. So, kind of right in that happy medium point in between there. So you have quite a bit of the same kind of blade sort of thing going on there, but this is a full forefinger grip without having to resort to using the choil like you kind of have to do on the big banter there. So yeah, kind of pretty interesting finding that middle ground that none of the three banters have really hit that exact size point, and that seems to be the size point that I really like. So, yeah, glad I picked this thing up. Definitely have to work on the action on it just a little bit, see if I can't fix that up by cleaning it up and putting some more viscous oil on there. But, alright, well, yeah, it's basically what I ended up getting here was this guy. We got the Kizer Mini Harpoon. Sure, we got the thing that I forgot the name of and isn't even branded yet, but it is basically a new company that BladeHQ is going to start carrying. We got the QSP Hedgehog here, which is a pretty darn good slip joint so far. I mean, obviously I haven't done anything with it, but feels super nice. And we got the Kizer Genie, or possibly renamed to G. Not quite sure on this one in particular, but some fun knives overall. I did just purchase another slip joint. This one's a little bit more spendy. It's another Viper. It's not the Hug though. It's another model, but still, that's should be quite fun when I do get it in I don't know, probably close to a week or something like that from this point here. But yeah, the Viper Hug really impressed me enough that when they came out with a different one, I figured I would pick that one up. Whereas I was already staring at another version of the Hug in titanium rather than bronze. But there we go. So a whole bunch of fun knives that I ended up getting today. I do have probably another couple of them still on the way, outside of that Viper knife that I had basically just teased a moment ago. But alrighty, this was fun. As always, I appreciate y'all for watching, and have yourself a wonderful rest of your day, yo.